The bird flu ban lifted after county fairs went on without a peep. And it's more than baby chicks. Kids learn to raise market animals. Plus, we highlight a farm that's been in the same family more than a century and a quarter and helping cattle beat the heat. Get ready for NTV's Grow. Recent rains that we've been having is keeping Nebraska out of a drought for now, but it's also posing a few challenges when it comes to getting the crop in the ground. Here's more on how farmers are making up for it.
It's frustrating. You know, you spend a lot of long hours out here, and then Mother Nature does that to you. It's tough.
BJ Kemke says he's barely had any free time lately.
The rains just kept coming and kept pushing us farther back for getting the corn planted.
He's been spending close to 10 hours a day replanting soybeans on his farm in Blair.
Earlier than normal because the weather was so good. We had 80 degrees and it was dry and we had a window of opportunity, so we said, let's go.
Kemke says they started planting earlier this year.
You can actually see how wet it is underneath there. Slime and muck. And that stuff you can't plant into.
But that took a turn for the worse.
Right here in this area, there's probably 15 acres here that we're not going to be able to plant this year.
And Kemke's not alone. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, 97% of corn should have already been planted, but by the middle of May, it was only 90%. The same goes for soybeans. 82% should have been planted, but it was only 54%.
Every year is different. There are no 2 years that are the same.
The Nebraska Farm Bureau says this is largely due to the weather.
Our worries now are come July, we're probably going to be begging for a rain.
And the second it stops,
once you get weather like this, you get in the tractor and you go.
As for crop conditions, let's take a look at that. It did limit hay harvesting and planting a little bit. USDA National Ag Statistics also report the crusting of soil. Some producers are running pivots to help crops emerge. And 62% of the corn crop is rated good, 73% of soybeans are in the ground, 96% planted. Farmers planted 55% of sorghum crop behind the 59% average. And an effort is underway to help you make your lives a little bit easier, at least when it comes to reporting those acreages. The USDA is streamlining crop acreage reporting. Farmers and ranchers can fill out the acreage report with one office now, and that information will be electronically shared with other agencies. This interagency collaboration includes participating private crop insurance agents and insurance companies. Not only is it convenient, but it can help prevent mistakes.
The whole goal of this project is obviously to increase the customer service to the producer, save them time, be more efficient. But also increase that data integrity. So I just need to emphasize that they still need to visit both offices though to make sure that data integrity is up to date and correct. It just won't
take as much time.
It won't take as much time. That's the goal.
Thing. Plans are underway at USDA to continue building upon the framework with additional efficiencies at a future date. Remember, you can also access your FSA farm information on your computer with the customer self-service portal known as FSA Farm Plus. Contact your FSA office if you have questions. Taking on the ag issues and helping out producers in the 3rd District, Sally Atkins was named as Congressman Adrian Smith's ag director. She has over 30 years experience in the ag industry, and Congressman Adrian Smith says it's that experience that's a pretty big asset.
With our goal of providing top-notch service to farmers and ranchers throughout the 3rd District, Sally's wealth of experience makes her the perfect person to lead these efforts. Her very impressive credentials reflect her first-hand knowledge of producers' needs and concerns. So I'm excited to welcome Sally to the team and look forward to working with her to serve the country's top-producing agriculture district.
She worked under previous Senator Mike Johans and was Regional Director of Membership for Nebraska Farm Bureau. She was Director of the Nebraska Beef Council and has been active in 4-H and FFA. Her family farm and ranch is in Thomas County. The bird flu scare is over, and a lot of contestants are clucking about their entries that will be at the fairs. Here's NTV's Steve White with more.
County fairs were a little quiet last year, going on without a peep.
It's a little noisy today.
Megan Knuth fights to be heard over 400 baby chicks going to new homes with 4-H kids.
21.
The Jacobs kids take care of all kinds of animals.
I show pigs and bunnies.
But last year didn't take any chickens to the county fair.
Because there's a bird flu.
Officially called the highly pathogenic avian influenza, the state declared an emergency. Farmers focused on biosecurity, isolating birds from disease and destroying any who could be in contact with infected flocks. A total of 5 million Nebraska birds were put down. The state went so far as to ban poultry shows at the county fair, where 4-H kids were forced to get creative.
This is the leg.
Showing stuffed animals or multimedia presentations.
Videotape them with their actual live bird and then exhibit that here with the judge.
Now chirping chicks are back. These were just hatched and will go home and gain up to 8 pounds.
They raise them, take care of them, give them the best possible life in order to make a good end product that goes on your kitchen table.
That doesn't seem like 30.
And yes, cute chicks will become chicken dinner.
This talks about butchering it.
As an introduction to raising livestock.
Because if you go to the supermarket, you want your chicken breasts to all be the same size. So it's all about consistency.
According to the state, the poultry sector is a billion-dollar industry, and that even includes small farms all the way to a hatchery being planned in the Grand Island area. And also resuming FDA inspections of egg handling facilities. They had been suspended in May of last year after the administration consulted with state veterinarians concerned about spreading the bird flu virus. State inspects smaller operations while the FDA takes on the processors with 3,000 or more birds. Since Nebraska ranks 10th nationally in egg production, there's a contest out there for those with a passion for poultry. 4-H and FFA members can join in on the poultry calendar photo contest. Nebraska Department of Ag is opening its contest to those members, highlighting the state's diverse poultry population. The deadline to enter is July 15th. Winners will be announced during the Nebraska State Fair in Grand Island. Rules and entry forms are available on the Nebraska Department of Ag website. Nebraska also celebrating its rank as number 2 when it comes to ethanol production. Governor Pete Ricketts has proclaimed May as Renewable Fuels Month. Ethanol consumes 43% of the state's corn crop, but farmers say the EPA is not living up to the levels set by Congress. In the governor's words, the EPA's constant meddling creates uncertainty.
Ethanol industry is a $5 billion invested capital base here in Nebraska. And if we undermine that because the EPA doesn't always follow what Congress set out, people are less likely to make those investments. And of course, that hampers our ability to create jobs here in Nebraska.
Farmers who serve on the corn board say American ethanol reduces dependence on foreign oil and builds the economy with plants located across central Nebraska. Nebraska researchers are one step closer to researching hemp as a crop. UNL's Agronomy and Horticulture Department received a permit allowing the department to research hemp. But while they have the permit, they have to wait for the DEA to approve importing hemp seeds from growers in Canada. One UNL professor hopes they'll be able to plant the seeds sometime this year. Other news now, an accident spilling grain all over the highway, and investigators are trying to figure out what happened. No one was injured. Authorities do say a semi-truck was getting onto the I-80 ramp near the Outlet Mall when it suddenly split, dumping its load of grain on the ramp. Crews spent several hours cleaning up the mess. A massive change coming to those food labels that consumers look at. We're talking about the ones that contain the fat content, calories, and other contents as well. One researcher says that this actually could be a pretty good change.
This is a really great step in helping the consumer to easily be able to make those decisions at the point of sale to say, okay, this is what I want because it has less of this, more of this, it's a healthier choice for me, and I am no longer just going by the pretty colors or the picture on the label. I can make the decision about what's best for my health.
Some changes include an update of the list of nutrients displayed, which will now show levels of potassium and vitamin D, serving size that will be more in line with our modern eating habits, and an added sugar column. Other changes also include total calories to be easier and seen and read on the packaging. These will take effect in the next 2 years for the majority of food and grocery manufacturers. For smaller businesses, the next 3 years. Well, no aliens needed. Some say that those crop circles created by sitter pivots are actually a piece of art. The Great Plains Art Museum in Lincoln is hosting an exhibition this summer called Cropping to Circles. The artists say he wants to draw attention to agricultural uses of water. The exhibition runs through the end of the summer season. You've probably been feeling the heat out there. Well, your cattle will too, and now is the time to make a plan for when the heat really cranks up. And will the heat be here to stay? We're going to find out more on all of this in your Grow Forecast coming up. Don't go anywhere.